All right, welcome back to Stock Tricks with Nick for this week's Breakout Watchlist from February 1st to February 5th. All the stocks that we'll be talking about today are in very strong uptrends. They're above their 200-day simple moving average, which itself is in an uptrend, 150% off the 52-week lows. So they're always the strongest stocks that have pulled back, consolidated, and ready to get stronger and possibly break out in the coming week. Before I get into that list, did want to go over the market is very shaky right now. So this may truly be just a watch list. I don't plan on trading anything early on in the week, but we'll get into some of the charts and why I think the market is weak in a little bit. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you follow Stock Trick Nick there and vote on your favorite setup after you watch this video. If you're watching for a specific stock, all the timestamps will be in the comment section. All right, so I do want to go over trading defensively, but before I do that, let me switch to the chart of the QQQs just to take a look at why I think the market is looking shaky and probably not the best time to be trading aggressively. So this is something we talked about on Friday's trading recap, but wanted to highlight September 2nd's pullback here. This is exactly the type of candle that we got on Mondays. So we had we were extended over the upper Bollinger Band after the Bollinger Bands themselves were extended, and this is just 2 standard deviations away from the 20-day simple moving average, measures volatility. We had a day where everything flushed in September, and then it rallied back up to close above the upper Bollinger Band, but a red candle showing there was selling pressure there. And then the next week we dumped, had a mini rally, but then that dumped even further. So moving to what we're seeing currently, on Monday, we had the same type of candle as September 2nd, marking the market high. Had a sideways day because we had some large time earnings with Tesla, Apple, and Facebook. But after that, everything pulled back. We're now under the 20-day simple moving average, and we had higher volume on the sell-off days than on Thursday's kind of sideways action. So very, very concerning there. Even if we do bounce, maybe it's just a couple days like we saw in September before pulling back even further. We're still a little bit extended from the 50-day simple moving average. So maybe another week or so that we need the market to firm up before we start trading, but do have a watch list to cover. So let's go trading defensively. With all that, we only want to be taking risk in the market when the odds are on our side. So right now, with a lot of names flushing, one thing that I've learned was even quality setups that do end up breaking out quickly get sold off because a lot of funds, a lot of traders have just taken a huge hit on their account the past week with everything pulling back, and they're going to be quick to sell their first winner so they can soften up their profit and loss, the P&L. So even though we're going to be going over some quality setups, if those break out, they may be quickly sold off. So we have to really trade defensively if we're going to be trading at all this upcoming week. So typically, in a normal market, when things are working well, I have position sizes of 10% of my portfolio on each trade. Now, I'll be trading between 2.5% or 5%. Most likely, if I put on any trades in the first half of the week, it'll be at 2.5% because I'm not going to be actually trying to make money off those trades. I'm just trying to see what setups are working, what sectors working, what's showing relative strength. So in the first half of the week, for sure, just trying to get a hold of the market. My stop loss is 7% max, absolutely nothing more than that in this type of environment. The setups that I'm looking for are high volume breakouts. So if we're moving over a pivot point that I'll be talking about or a buy point that I'll be talking about in the video, are we doing that with a lot of volume, or is it only retail money trying to get in, push that up? And then we also don't want to be buying low in a base. Mark Minervini talks about the low cheats. That works really well when the market's in an uptrend, when everything's breaking out of bases. Right now, we're pulling back from a breakout. So we don't want to be trying to cheat low in the system. If something's breaking out, we want to get it either at all-time highs or breaking out of a base, the upper half of the base. And then for trade management, I'm going to be much quicker to take profits. So once a stock moves up maybe 8%, 10%, take 20% of the position off, book some profit, and then quick with my stop movements. So every trade that I put on, I have stop losses 7% max, as you see. But if a trade gets out 8%, I'll likely move my stop to my entry point. So that way I take out the initial capital risk on the trade. And then if the trade works, the market starts swinging higher, then I do have some exposure on, but it's not eating away at my initial capital that I started the week with. So just wanted to walk through that before I got to my list. But we'll jump into it. So I mentioned voting early on in the video. From these 4 options on my Twitter account, you can vote on how I'll be investing the money that I make on TikTok. I have a trading account that I just put in the money every week, how much I made, and then I let you guys invest that. If at the end of the year that TikTok trading account beats my own personal trading account on a weekly compounding basis, I'll be giving that account away. So make sure you vote on your favorite out of ARLO, NIO, RCKT, and SOLO. Quick disclaimer, should have probably put this earlier. Nothing that I talk about is financial or trading advice. This is for educational purposes only. Trading comes with extreme financial risk. Always do your due diligence before trading. Here is the watch list that we'll be going over today. We have ARL. I'm not going to list it. I have it here, but the stars are what you guys can vote on this week. Not saying they're any better than the other setups, but what the voting will be on. All right, so let's jump to the charts. So again, we're proceeding with caution this week. Some of these names may break out, and if they do so on volume, maybe we could take those, but we're going to be quick to take some profit, quick to protect our entry, and let the market kind of prove itself before we get back in. So ARLO, this has been on my watch list for a while now. Really, oops, I'm on ellipse. Let's go segment. So really strong breakout here, 94%. You see the high volume on those moves. We had the first pullback, let's see, from high to low. I think it was, 18% on that name. Second pullback, and then things are getting tight here. But I wanted to point out relative strength. As the market's dumping, this is holding right at its 8-day exponential, its 20-day simple moving average. We had high inside day on Thursday, higher highs, higher lows on Friday, even when the market was terrible. It was up 0.8%. Did kind of pull back later in the day like everything else did, but I'd be looking for a break over 873 as a possible buy point. And again, we want to see a lot of volume come in right at that breakout point if that's something that we're going to be trading. It's ARLO. Next we have ATEC. Another name with really good relative strength this past week. Continues to bounce between the 20-day simple moving average and that upper Bollinger Band. But on Friday, inside day, closed in the upper half and right near what would be all-time highs. Lower volume last week while everything got crazy. Not many people were trading this name, so there was less disagreement in this versus the rest of the market. So a break over Thursday's high of 1526 all-time highs would be my possible buy point that I'm looking at. Is ATEC. You can see 200-day, 50-day, 20-day, 8-day, all in the right order. So everything's in an uptrend. This is holding really well, and we're near a possible buy point. Next, we have BIDU. This one is probably a little early to take, but it had so much power. 86% move. Probably even more than that. Hold on. 102% since mid-December. Now we've pulled back only 13% from the highs. So this may need a little bit more time to trade sideways or even down a little bit. There is a gap in the chart that maybe this pulls back further, but that's why we're only buying the breakouts. We're not buying randomly in a pullback because we have no idea when other buyers are going to show up. But inside day on Friday closed right around the 20-day simple moving average. Volume during this pullback is lighter than a couple of these breakout days, which is what you like to see. I'm just looking at a break over Thursday's high. That would also get you over kind of the main part of this volume shelf here. And that's a high of 245.94. It's a possible buy point. It's BIDU. Next we have FTCH. This one started really taking off in November, had a, let's see, 130 something, 133% move from that initial breakout. Lots of volume coming in on the way up. Really good to see. Then we started to get this downward drift to the right. Wanted to point out a lot of the pullbacks got bought up. So you see a lot of those long lower wicks. That's showing that buyers are stepping up every time it flushes, which is a good sign. Wednesday had a long lower wick. Thursday did, and then even Friday bounced at the 50-day and closed above the 20, above the 8-day exponential. So this is holding up really well while still giving the sellers, the weaker hands, a reason to leave when it flushes. So this one could work. Ideally, we have a couple of days of downward action, and then we could use Friday's high, 61.56, as a possible buy point. Otherwise, if we just take off, I would be looking for January 22nd's high. That's 65.23. That's FTCH. Next, we have JOE. This is one that I traded this little breakout there. Got some sold off into strength, got stopped out of the rest at my entry point. Again, we're trading defensively here while everything's starting to shift. This is holding up really well. Lower volume on the pullback, closed right at the 20-day simple moving average. You can see this is just flagging out. Might need some more work, but looking at Friday's high, 46.32 is the possible buy point. Again, we want to see lots of volume with that kind of move if we're going to be taking any new trades. It's JOE. Next, we have LAZR, and this one is still holding up relatively well. Again, maybe needs a week or two for the market to really correct and then form up, but doing all the right things on a volume standpoint, breaks out on heavy volume, pulls back on light volume. What I would be looking for is actually a pullback buy here where we undercut the low from Friday and then take out the high on the same day. So that's the only way I would buy this going into the week. If it firms up, then we can put it on Wednesday's live stream. But if we can undercut the low, which is 31.25, and then take out the high of Friday, basically those two things, then you can get a pullback buy. Even then, that's going to be aggressive. I'm going to be quick to move any stops if I do take the trade. It's LAZR, MGNI. This one, really strong uptrend, 250.28, all in the right order, all with a decent amount of space between them, which you could say, well, that's showing that there's room to pull back, and there absolutely is room to pull back. But why isn't this pulling back nearly as much as some of the other growth names? Showing good relative strength for now. You'd see kind of trading down into this pullback. I would, similar to LAZR, I want to see the low of kind of, what candle is this? On the 20th be taken out. So we undercut that low and then we run back up and take out the high of the day. So low would be 33.16, take out that low. And then if we can move over $37, that'll give the last kind of group of new buyers here a reason to leave, getting stopped out there, and then taking out the high with volume. That would be a sign of strength. Well, this has already showed a lot of strength, but we got to play things a little bit more creative if we're going to be taking any trades at all. Next, we have NIO. This one, again, holding up relatively well. We got a downwards right drift. We did undercut the previous pullback on Thursday, which is why I put this on the watch list. So anyone who got in around here, put their stop right around that day. We did undercut that. Really light volume last week as it traded sideways and looked like it was holding up really well on Friday before it flushed down. So now we have two daily highs right around the same price, creating what would be a possible pivot buy point. So it's 60.67 and 60.71. Just go with Friday's high, 60.71. But that's not if we just gap up on Monday. If we gap up on Monday, I'm not trading anything. I'm just freezing, letting some trades actually prove themselves before I risk anything in the market. But that's NIO. Obviously has been a huge winner in 2020, doing well in 2021. 200-day, 50-day, 20-day, 8-day, all in the right order. Last four, we got PLUG. This one might be a little bit early as well, but really, really powerful name. Let's see, what was the 144% move up and just since the new year. What did we get as a pullback? 24%. So high tight flag forming up here. We did undercut the two lows on Wednesday, Thursday with Friday's low, which is good to see. Get those stops out. Um, this is another one where I'll be setting an alert for the low here of 57.32, the low on the 15th. If we can puncture that, we would also undercut the 20-day simple moving average, give uh, give buyers a reason to step in. So uh, a lot of people buy the pullback to the 20-day moving average. So if we pull back and we don't see any buyers, then we're definitely not putting on the trade. We want to see it undercut the low, undercut the 20-day, and then take out the high from Friday. That would be the possible buy point. Because if you're over the high from Friday, there's very little resistance up here. This has been holding up extremely well during the market volatility. It's PLUG, RCKT. This is another high tight flag that 134% up, pullback 22%. So not a lot of people trying to get out here. We do get a sideways down drift, so that gives short-term traders a reason not to keep their money in here because it keeps on making newer lows. But as a breakout trader who's not in the trade, you like when short-term traders have a reason to leave because once the setup sets back up and breaks out over a pivot point, those people will be coming right back in. So we have Friday's high. It looked like it was getting going and then pulled right back. So we have 57.85 and 57.77. So let's just go 57.85, the high from January 26th as a possible buy point there. RCKT. Next we got SOLO. So this one has been basing out for a while. Good pullback on very little volume. Had this middle section dump on slightly higher volume, so then you want to wait to see the volume kind of switch where you get the larger volume days coming on breakouts instead of sell-off days. We got that around the 15th, 13th in January, pulled back to the 8-day. Things got just volatile in the market, so this has been kind of shaky, but we're still kind of forming up the right side of the base here. So again, I'm less likely to buy into this low cheat uh, because the market's been so shaky. I want more confirmation in a name before actually risking any money on the trade. You could take a break over Friday's high, 850 as a possible buy point. I may just wait for the high of January 25th. That would be 921. You'd still have a really nice 45, 50% move up to all-time highs with that. So a couple areas to watch. Probably set alerts for both and just let the trade come to me. And finally, we have VERU, another one that is just flagging out here. Had a 300% run since December. Pulled back, let's see, 32% from the highs. We had this first pullback, and then the second one undercut that. You like to see it. Rallied back up, pulled back, and then got it undercut last Monday, is that? Yeah, last Monday. Then things tightened up again. If I hide the big volume, you can see the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, both came on very, very light volume here after Wednesday's potential kind of move over a lower pivot right there. So definitely has potential in a normal working market. You could do a similar pullback buy, and you could still do that if we break under Friday's low, take out Friday's high. I'm waiting for a break over January 27th high. That's 980 as a possible buy point, and that's VERU. All right, that's going to be the breakout watch list. I hesitate to say breakout watch list just because I'm being upfront with you. I'm all cash except for an SQQQ long position, so slightly short the market right now. If we see some breakouts, I want to see them on volume, and I want to see a couple breakouts actually hold instead of getting quickly sold off. And that's when we know more institutions are coming back to hold up price instead of just quick breakout retail traders. The first couple breakouts we see may be sold off to soften up people's P&Ls, and you just don't want to trade in a choppy market. If you're taking full stops on position after position after position because it gets up 5% and then flushes, it's just better to save not only your capital but also your mental capital, and come back when the market's strong and come back fully confident that you're not too far off your account balance highs. So that's going to be the watch list. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Subscribe to the channel, Stock Tricks with Nick. I do this breakout watch list Sunday, live stream Wednesday nights, and then a trading recap on Friday. Follow me on StockTwits, Twitter, and TikTok, and I'll see you guys Wednesday for the Midweek Movers live stream.